Well, IIED's been researching sustainable development for 40 years, and I think we've proven the robustness of the concept over that time. Fashions change, livelihoods, green economy. I think we've proven it can work. I think right now in the discussions for Rio, there are many countries actually harking back to the Sustainable Development Principles of Rio 92 and saying, yes, let's make this work. So the idea of Sustainable Development Goals would seem to make sense from our evidence. The Millennium Development Goals, I think, have also proven the concept of a global shared simple set of goals for unifying the UN, unifying the aid system and some developing countries. So the idea of something better than the MDGs is not a bad one. So therefore it's a question of how different the SDGs will be from the MDGs. Clearly one thing is that it will relate to all countries rather than just developing countries. Therefore it will relate to not just the aid system but the way in which all countries operate, their governance, their business. It'll mean more players, private sector and business, designing, delivering, accounting for sustainable development goals. And it'll mean we all work on something that we share more together about what is well-being, human and ecosystem well-being, and we'll be able to tackle global targets. So I think that's the general idea of SDGs, all countries working on it together. But it's going to take some time to do. I think one of the problems right now in the Rio process is that people are, the diplomats are prematurely wordsmithing, reacting against certain terms, not unnaturally seeing that they may not work for them. So what we would hope for the Rio process is to get design a process of learning, information exchanging, knowledge sharing, so that we could work at the level of principle. What are those common principles of well-being that all countries can work on together? Are they contraction and convergence? Is it local control? What is it at the level of principles? What does this mean for the areas that matter to everybody? Food, energy, water. How do we get the principles of sustainability into the goals for each of these areas rather than, say, separating out an environment goal? And how can we involve more people in this process? The MDGs were written by a few UN Secretariat members sitting around a table. How do we get business involved? How do we get ordinary people involved? IIED is looking forward to helping the least developed countries in this process and being part of a think tank process to try and get something rigorous and robust.